Alrighty, ladies and gents, East vs West 7 is just about upon us. We are going to do a prediction show for you today. We're going to pretty much go through rapid fire, aren't we, Ethan, on what's going to go down. And, of course, we will be live. There will be the watch party. You can grab your pay-per-view, of course, but we will be live as well. We'll be watching it right here in the studio with you guys. But let's go through the matches in reverse order, or in the order that we're going to see them on the day, Ethan. It's going to start with USA's Wawrzynski against another Georgian, Bacho. He's not Mexican. He's Georgian. Bacho Saginasvilli. How do you see this one, man?
Well, Adam had a very impressive showing in his first match, didn't he? That was a good shot out the gate. So we know he's coming in great form. We know how strong he is, and we know how comfortable he is in terms of taking control of a match. But I don't know a whole lot about Saginasvilli. I don't know about you.
Well, we know he is a world and European champion, both left and right hand. So that says a lot. I don't know how many times he's done that, but he's done it a bunch of times. If we look at him stylistically, he looks like also almost an Arsene Liliev style. Short, compact, explosive top roller. That's what it looks like. Adam Wawrzynski, on the other hand, hook puller. So classic matchup here of styles. Hard to know their levels. Who's going to be more comfortable? Don't know. Both pretty early on in the East vs West journey. But Bacho experienced, no doubt, in the European division. Top roll, V-hook. I'll let you give your prediction first. Who you got?
No, throw me under the bus there.
Yeah. I just thought I'd set it up for you with all the styles. So classic top roll V-hook. It's continuing the run of Georgia v USA. I think that rivalry itself is pretty even. I think I could be. I'm not sure. Someone's only one ahead. There's been like 15 matches and it's 8-7. I forget who's leading. Yeah. Something like that. I saw that stat the other day, but
not quite so classic in terms of it seems to be a slightly longer arm hook versus a shorter arm top roller.
Well, Adam's not particularly tall, but Adam's very built as well. This is. It's very evident both these guys are very strong. Visibly, you're like, ooh, okay, they're both phenomenal. The fact that he's got the surname Saginasvilli might be a factor.
Yeah, look, just surname alone.
Is he a distant cousin?
Surname alone.
If he's related, it's over. if he's actually related, if he's more than if he's in second cousin range, then it's over. But if it's third cousin, then Adam's got a chance.
There's a chance.
I'll
lean towards. I'll give world title status a bit of a nod and say that it's a 3-1.
Okay. My prediction, Bacho Saginasvilli will take this one as well. Sort of home territory. I think he'll be there to prove a point. And as you say, world champion status has got to mean something. As strong as Adam Wawrzynski is, and his first showing was amazing. I think that Bacho will be the favourite in this one. Next match, man. Another good one. Daniel Procopciuc, Doug Erlich. Ooh. What about Moldova against the USA?
Well, the big question here is, do we see Daniel pulling inside or outside? So in his last couple of showings, he's been favouring his top roll. I don't know whether that's because he's having some inner elbow issues, but we haven't seen the same raw inside power that we've come to expect from Daniel. That being said, if he is there and he is healthy, evidently he's a bit more versatile than he has been in the past. He's got that massive top roll, back roll, defensive option mostly, as well as that inside game. So Doug will be. Ooh, it's interesting because he had a dominant performance his last match as well.
You got to give it to Doug Erlich. He beat Coach Ray very handily. It showed that he was just too strong across the fight. He could go inside, outside, didn't matter where. It was he was in full control of the hand and wrist of his opponent. Daniel Procopciuc, as you said, very interestingly, is coming from the reputation of just being an inside monster. But we've seen him pull outside. I think that Doug is slightly taller than the two. I haven't met Doug, but I have met Daniel, and I've seen Doug relative to Ray and all that sort of. I think Doug is taller, but I think this match, I think it's going to be a Doug down war. I think that Doug Erlich likely looks to be on the offense. He'll be the one looking for the pin in the early rounds. I think we'll see the defensive, immovable arm of Daniel, whether it's inside pressure, outside pressure. I did the exact opposite then. I said inside, outside. For those listening on the podcast, I got away with it. But for everyone watching, they all think I'm an idiot.
Don't worry, we already thought that.
So this one is going to be solid. I think it's going to be a war. I think I lean towards slightly Daniel Procopciuc, but Doug may surprise me again and just have enough to get through.
Yeah, I think it comes down to whether or not Daniel has that inside option. We saw in his last match at East vs West when he went inside, he got buried, which I'd never seen before.
Yep.
So if his inside is good and is secure, I think Daniel wins that one in a war. I think if he only has that back pressure option, and then we'll see similar to what we have done in the past, he might win those first couple of rounds, but slowly it's going to open up. And he kind of got sloppy on those elbow fouls off. He lost his own match on elbow fouls. So hopefully we see that inside game coming back in. But without it, I'm going to give a slight edge to Doug.
Okay, going Doug.
Yeah.
Got a score prediction for me?
Score prediction, it's probably going to be 3-1 or 3-2 either way.
Mm-hmm.
If Daniel has his inside, I'm going to say 3-1 Daniel.
Pick an answer here. Don't give me ifs.
Don't give me.
We
You know what?
We got to get a
We love
scorecard
having
going.
fun. We love having fun. I'm going to say Doug at risk of looking like an idiot.
What's the score?
3-2.
Okay, I'm going 3-1 Daniel Procopciuc.
That sounds smarter. That sounds a lot smarter.
All right, next match we got is Zurab Tavberidze of Georgia up against USA's Rob Vigeant Jr. Another USA-Georgia battle. I've already put a prediction out there somewhere. I think that Zurab is going to win decisively on this one. I think it will be a 3-0 Zurab by way of slip, straps, side pressure, smile, and it's over. In a very basic sense. How do you see it?
I want to see a fired up Rob. I'm scared we won't get one. And because of that, I think most likely it's a 3-0 Zurab. But if we get a fired up Rob, 3-2 Zurab.
So it's Zurab no matter what. Zurab is looking in phenomenal shape. If we look at the photos that are floating around of Zurab at the moment, he is clearly strong and ready, and I don't know if it's his best shape, but he is looking very, very significantly monstrous. Rob's preparations less certain of what they mean. We've seen him pulling with Jerry Carteret. He looked great. And I know Rob is someone, as we've said many times before, who has that genetic potential to just truly be someone at the very pointy end. However, his previous performances give us reason for concern against Sasha Andreev, and he's just difficulty in finding his fire.
I think best in shape Rob. It's the if it was the best Rob we'd ever seen, has every chance of wiping the match. Has every chance of a 3-0 victory if it's the best ever Rob. I'm worried we won't get one, so I'm going to pick Zurab.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to pick 3-0 Zurab. The outlier being that Rob may get a slip in a losing position when outside of straps.
Yep.
Alrighty, moving on. So Alizhan Muratov of Kazakhstan up against Kody Spur Merritt USA. Left hand battle here.
Yes.
Alizhan, he is pedigree on the left.
He is ferocious.
Kody Spur Merritt, a former WAF super heavyweight left hand world champion.
And maybe the toughest guy in arm wrestling.
Maybe? Really?
Maybe.
What's the story there?
He's the only person I'm aware of to win a super match after breaking his arm.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's who was that again? That was up in Canada.
Rob Tofi, I think.
Yeah, that was
breaks his forearm
and then goes on
the match.
And wins.
Not just one round. He doesn't just finish the round. He gets like 2 other rounds after breaking his arm. So potentially the toughest man in arm wrestling.
That is tough. I don't know how you do that. But look, Alizhan Muratov, who did he beat last time? He beat Oleg Petrenko, and he made it look very comfortable. The match got drawn out because it was like, I don't know if you recall, weird fouls got called. I swear it looked like he pinned Oleg a bunch of times. They didn't call it. But Alizhan has one of the thickest wrists, most solid block of forearm. He's not a bulky one. He's just all thick.
He's one of those people who's just you almost wouldn't tell that he's mega trained as much as he is, but he's just solid and robust the entire way.
Stylistically, he has a massive press. The Kazakhstan team are known for that. Kody, Spur, Merritt, all out top roll. There is no inside game at the level required to match Alizhan. Alizhan, for me, stylistically, has the advantage because I think he's comfortable pulling with his wrist back, even if he has to. I think he's good jamming up. I saw him jam up against Oleg and outlast there. I think this is a 3-0 Alizhan for me.
3-0.
Yep. Sorry, Kody.
Goodness.
I think Alizhan's too good.
Well, we know Kody's history on the left. We know where he's been. Of course, he got beat quite handily by Artem. Mm-hmm. That's not a slight against anyone at this point. Artem's been on an absolute streak. Giving a nod to Kody and his past.
Taking another risk here?
I'm going to take another risk. Just I'm doing the safe play, and I'm doing the opposite of what Ryan's saying.
So you're gonna feel the burn of reality.
I am gonna feel the burn of reality.
The joke is I can't predict anything.
You've got one of the best records.
The truth is my record's around 85% accurate.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kody Spur Merritt. No one's gonna really blame you for betting on Kody Spur Merritt. He's got the weight advantage by a long shot. He's a left arm specialist. He's been seemingly out of form. This might be the return to form where he just utterly denies his opponent.
Interestingly, I think it may be a case of it's either 3-0 or Kody loses.
Yeah.
That's what I see. If he gets one round taken off him, then he loses.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it's either 3-0 Kody or
Alizhan takes it.
Alizhan takes it.
Gotcha. All right. Let's lock that one in. So you just got to stay on Team Kody. No changing now. I think I'm leading 3-1 in the predictions scores. Just gut feel. Next match we got is we've talked about this one in depth. Vitaly, Laletin, Tobias, and you know how we got the.
We're going to agree on this one.
You know how the pronunciation is. We've had it confirmed. Yeah. It's. Let me get this right. Tobias. Yeah. Okay. It's Tobias. No,
you probably still got that entirely wrong.
It was. What have you been saying? You were saying Tobias.
Yes.
And I was saying
Tobias.
And
it's neither.
It was neither. It's Tobias. It's Tobias. Yeah, Tobias. had a bunch of Swedes in the chat confirming the pronunciation.
We're still wrong. I can guarantee
I think it's Tobias.
We're still wrong.
It's Tobias. No, I'm back at that one, I think. Anyway.
Either way, we're backing Vitaly, aren't we, on that one?
Vitaly, Laletin, Tobias, Sporrong. I feel Vitaly Laletin will win this match because he gets to do what he does. I.e., he's used to being the tall guy, and he will be the tall guy again. Tobias Sporrong, he's used to being the tall guy, and he's going to be the shorter guy.
Yeah, I think for Sporrong to win, he has to be a level stronger than Vitaly, and I don't think he is. So unless he is that much stronger, I think Vitaly's going to take it and take it quite comfortably.
And Tobias's best victories have come when he is using that amazing defensive top roll, which just won't work against Vitaly.
Or an offensive low hand top roll attack, which again does not work against Vitaly.
Yeah, but he may bring out some form of inside game. That would be the thing that would be required, I think, and that would be the surprise that if it does happen, could give him the victory. But I think that is the long shot. I think Vitaly Laletin likely 3-0, maybe 3-1.
Yep.
All right. Moving on, we got in agreement on that one. Dave Chaffee and Revas Lutidze.
Ooh.
Another USA.
We've seen Dave
Georgia.
Chaffee's table IQ and versatility has improved significantly, but against top rollers for the most part, we haven't seen how he's adapted against people who have this mega inside game.
Revas
Does he have enough? Or does Revas have enough inside to trouble Dave? That's my question, because he's a tall dude, he's a strong dude, he's got a mega top roll. Does he have a hook that he can jump to? Because if he does,
yeah, historically Dave Chaffee does very well against top rollers.
Very well.
He contains their hand and wrist solidly, goes sideways, and there's normally nothing that they can do. I don't think Revas has the top roll game to defeat Dave. I agree with you that he needs to be forcing it inside, but he needs to put in some bullets in to do what Morozov did and make a comeback. I think Dave Chaffee on this one, 3-0.
I'm leaning towards a 3-0 Dave Chaffee as well. But I will not be surprised if Revas finds a lane, because there seems to be a big enough gap once you put a stop on Dave Chaffee's pronation to be able to get through and have that comeback victory. Looking for, especially those first two rounds. First two rounds of Dave have been mega, and he's worked a lot on his endurance and a lot on his transitions. So it may even be a chance that he gets the stop on that third round and Dave comes up and presses. So
if super matches were best of 3, Dave Chaffee has beaten a lot of people. He's very hard to stop in those early rounds. One of the best opening round pullers. Single round, he'd just like a single round super match.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he'd be all for that.
He would.
Against almost anyone on the planet.
Yeah.
First round, Dave's winning.
All right. So we in agreement, Dave Chaffee for the win?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, we have Davit Samushia again of Georgia against Brandon Ellsessor of USA. Continuing the theme of Georgia of the USA. Brandon Ellsessor's debut in the East vs West tournament. He had a fantastic year in, I think, 2020 in the USA, maybe 2021. 2021, I feel. 21. He was the puller of the year in the USA. He cleaned up everyone. He was beating, I think, even people like Dan Mosier. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he was on fire.
He beat our very own Mario Tambakis as well.
Did he?
On the left hand, didn't he? When Mario went
Did
over
they
to
face
America?
each other? You're thinking of Jordan Sill?
No, I'm thinking left-handed. It stopped him just defensively, and just Mario couldn't get the pin. I
believe you. I can't recall it, but I believe you. So Brandon Ellsessor, high caliber puller, well-rounded stylistic against Davit Samushia, who has an incredible hand at centre, hook puller, who of course we remember Paul Linn made his debut against Davit Samushia, winning 3-2. And now Paul Linn's gone on and done his thing. Brandon Ellsessor against Davit Samushia, I think, for me, Brandon's the bigger guy. Davit Samushia is the more established guy. I think the pressure's on Ellsessor to get pins early. I think he may have enough horsepower to get 1 or 2, but I think Davit Samushia is going to come through and win 3-1, 3-2.
I'm going to agree with you. I think the experience is going to come through for him. I think he's had more time at that level. I think he's got more experience at that level, and he's going to make better adjustments mid-match. Going to have less. The nerves aren't going to play with him as much on that stage either. He's been there before. He knows what's happened. He knows the refs, and all that makes a big difference in a match.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're in agreement there with Davit Samushia, the pick. Arif Ertem against Georgi Dzeranov. I'm not sure. This could be either left or right. I'm assuming it's going to be right. But Dzeраnov's last match, we saw him in an absolute death war against Brazilian, what's his name? Having a blank. You know him.
Both are. We can see him.
The Earthquake.
Oh,
come on.
Wagner.
Thank you. Wagner bought a ladder. Yeah.
Oh, no, did we forget his name?
Dzeranov had a screamer with him. It was one of the most entertaining matches I got to call it. It was fantastic. Loved it. But Dzeranov, legitimately amazing puller. Arif Ertem, of course, Turkish, and one of the all-timers of the sport as well. We've seen him back at East vs West in a few matches looking fantastic. I think this match is Arif Ertem's. I think his decades in the sport is going to be a little too much for Dzeranov. Dzeranov showed a lot of heart against Wagner, really dug in and shows that he will just stick around, but I think the completeness of the game of Arif will be too much.
He also showed a lot of bravery in the match too. You have to against Wagner, goodness. I think it's similar with a couple of the other matches. Unless there's a significant strength advantage, I think I'm going to agree with you. I think if the strength levels are similar, then Dzeranov going to really struggle with that.
All right, so Arif Ertem for me, probably a 3-1 victory. You see it any differently?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
3-1? All right, lock it in. Getting down to the final 3 matches now. One of, I guess you can call it a main event title, because this one is a world title match. Paul Linn, the current East vs West world champion of the 95 kilo class, he is taking on Bulgaria's, what do we call him? People's champ.
People's champ.
The people's champ of Bulgaria, Sasho Andreev, a multiple WAF world title holder. Has been a stud since the beginning. He was winning world titles as a junior and winning the seniors on the same day. Sasho is phenomenal, but there's a spanner in the works.
There is a spanner in the works.
Do you know what the spanner is?
Paul could be...
No, it's not the spanner.
No,
there's
not
a spanner to do with Sasho.
Ooh.
Sasho's been vegan for 6 months.
Oh. Paul wins it 3-0. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I don't know if it's true.
We
I don't know if
didn't
it's
do enough
true.
research.
But I saw an argument. There was an argument on Twitter back and forth about this match, and then it was revealed that Sasho's a vegan, and I'm like, it's over. Paul wins.
Look, I don't know that.
Yeah.
I haven't confirmed that. I haven't looked it up.
Yep. Anyway, how do you see this one, man?
There is no real higher caliber than Sasho. But there's going to be a significant weight difference between the two. If we know anything about Paul Linn, he's going to cut. He's going to cut and be somewhere around like 106 kilos or something when the actual match happens. And Sasho's likely going to be under that weight cap. So you're going to see a significant difference. That, I think, is Paul's only real saving grace in this match. I still see it most likely being a 3-0 to Sasho, maybe a 3-1. I think anything other than 3-0 is got to be a great showing from Paul, but there might just be one or two lanes where if Paul's brave enough, he can win this match. So I'll be cheering for Paul, but I think Sasho's definitely the heavy favourite.
Fair enough. Yes, and I have to agree. Reputation on paper, Sasho is the favourite. The closer this match gets, the more my gut feel starts to believe that Paul can do it.
I think Paul can.
Yeah, and I'm going to go as far as saying Paul will. I'm saying it. Paul will. The vegan thing is just it's sitting with me. I was seeing it as a Sasho slight favourite. The vegan thing for me.
Now you're making the risky pick.
I think that vegans lack adenosine triphosphate. Bad for super match pulling. Great for tournament pulling. Fine. Be light and fast, but I think he's going to fade. And I think Paul's not going to fade. I think Paul will lose the first 2 rounds. Paul will win the last 3. 3-2 Paul. Don't let me down, Paul. Come on, brother. You got it. Okay. 2 matches to go. Another world title match. Kidagali Ongarbayev up against Irakli Zarakashvili. This is Kazakhstan v Georgia. Mouth-watering match. 105 kilo world title on the line. Who do you see?
This is absolute fire.
Yeah.
And this is such a volatile match too, in that in any round, if someone doesn't have, unless someone somehow gains complete control, right? If either of them gain complete control, it's pretty much over. Outside of that one scenario, anything can happen in this match except maybe a hook.
A flop v flop?
Flop v flop. It can happen. They both have great flops. We saw flop v flop with John versus Irakli. We've seen Ongarbayev hold many people in that flop defense as well, so we know he's got it. This is just, I'm buzzing about this match. This is potentially my favorite match on the card.
I can see why you might think that. It's a hard one to pick. They're both studs. Kidagali Ongarbayev has been undefeated in the East vs West.
Yeah.
Undefeated. He's beaten John Brzenk. He's beaten Michael Todd. 2 all-time
Greats.
legends of the sport. And he's looked fantastic doing it. He punches above his weight every time he steps to the table. He's a phenomenally well-rounded athlete. Pulls so masterfully as a top roller. Has defense, as you said, with his wrist broken back if he has to. It's hard to see him losing. But what Irakli did when he faced John Brzenk shows that, wow, he can dig deep and he has the options. He's coming out of Team Georgia, which is producing the best arm wrestlers in the world at the moment. And you have to give him a shot, don't you? You have to give him a very real shot. His back pressure may be significant enough to get the job done. Does he have the endurance in that position to pull it off? For me, ultimately, I think Ongobayev will take this. I think 3-1, maybe 3-2.
Yeah, I think if it's close, it's Ongobayev's. I think if that strength level is close enough, then the technicality, versatility, and technical brilliance everywhere on the table from Ongobayev will be enough to win the match. Question to me is, how strong is Irakli? Because he is looking absolutely mega.
Yeah, he's curling a lot. 130 kilo curls for reps.
The raw power of Irakli is something else. It is not normal. And so, you know, I think that there's a chance. There's a chance that Irakli can overwhelm Ongobayev if he is strong enough. But if they're close, which I'm going to assume they are, then I'll agree with you. I think it's Ongobayev's to win in a war. So I'm going to say 3-2 to Ongobayev.
Roger, it is going to be an outstanding match. It is the second last match of the card. It is a world title match for the 105 kilo category, so it's going to be a big one. But then we have our main event. The reason the internet's going nuts is because these two guys are talking a lot. They are back and forth at each other. They are throwing insults. They are both supremely confident of their victory. It's rare to see two men so very confident that they know what's going to happen, which is a mouth-watering situation for the fans of the sport. Devon Larratt against Genadi Kvikvinia. Canada v Georgia. For the 100. No, it's not for the world title.
No.
It's because Genadi, it's an open weight match, isn't it? This is an open weight match. Devon Larratt is, of course, the 115 kilo world champion. But we will see a much heavier version of Devon for this one because Genadi Kvikvinia is someone who weighs in at around the 140 kilo mark, I believe. So we might get the 125 kilo version of Devon, 130 kilo version.
Yeah,
maybe.
probably around that 130.
Yep, it's going to be big. Who do you have? Who do you have in this one, Ethan?
Well, I think we know who the world has as a favourite for the most part. It's interesting when you're looking at a lot of the athletes' reviews. You'll have a number of people saying Devon's a heavy favourite. Then you'll have a few people saying it's 50-50. There's not too many people who are willing to say that Genadi is a favourite in this match. And I think that's reasonable. I think that's understandable. We're hoping for a war. But Devon just seems to be something else, something different.
Yeah. Well, I interestingly, we had at training last night, we had a Georgian there, Zurab Tavberidze, not Tavberidze, but Tavberidze, who is a 70 kilo Georgian and New Zealand rank 1. Asked him about this match, and he said, "Look, Genadi said I agree, Devon is favourite, but Genadi has the weapons to pin him, particularly the ability to transition explosively to a flop press." From a top roll. That seems to be the lane that may be open.
Yeah, and I think that might be open for 1 or 2 rounds. It's very hard, though, to establish that top roll hit dominance after you've had your wrist broken back. So I think what a lot of people are visualizing is that Genadi explodes with the top roll round 1, transitions to a vicious flop wrist press, and pins Devon round 1. And then round 2, Devon's now got control of the wrist. I think that's the most common viewpoint of how this match is going to go.
Genadi's been baiting Devon to come into a hook with him.
I want to see it.
You think what happens if it goes inside?
If it goes inside, well, again, I think if it's fresh v fresh, Genadi can get through it at least once. But as the match goes on and you got that rotation dominance from Devon,
yeah, I feel like if Devon is committing forward, knowing and intending on hooking, I think Devon gets the rotation high ground. And I don't think Genadi can decisively pin him there. Much like Jerry couldn't back in WAL days when Devon came forward. I think if Devon dictates the lane, Devon will win. I think Genadi has to be derailing the lane, whether it's inside or outside. I feel like he has to be derailing. For me, it's Devon's pronation that is the big problem for Genadi. His pronation, it's very rare to see Devon lose a match if his pronation survives. And defeating Devon's pronation is a very difficult task. That said, if we look at how far Prudnik moved Devon in the early rounds, it was close for him. It wasn't far off beating the pronation. And Genadi, you have to say, is another step up above Prudnik. So,
yeah. In terms of raw power, Genadi is definitely a step above Prudnik. You'd have to think so, but he's also not as explosive as Prudnik. He's very explosive. Don't get me wrong.
not as explosive as Prudnik.
Prudnik is not as fast as Prudnik. Sorry, not as fast. Prudnik is ridiculously fast. We saw that round one.
I don't know. I want to see it. Prudnik v Genadi in a beach sprint race. I think Genadi is fast off the blocks. Even though he's big, he's fast, man.
He is fast, but not as fast as Prudnik. That's all I'm saying. I think that's kind of
I don't know. We got
a small difference.
Let us know who's faster, Genadi or Prudnik in the chat. Let us know in the comment section because that's interesting. I see it totally differently.
You see it differently. You think Genadi's faster than Prudnik?
Yeah.
Genadi wins 3-0.
Genadi's ability to punch sideways.
Oh, he's explosive and aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't think he's quite as quick off the go as Prudnik is.
Okay. Fair enough. It's a factor. Speed against Devon. He's definitely faster than Devon.
Yeah. He's faster than Devon.
Can you think of someone slower than Devon that's relevant in the arm wrestling world? Can you? Off the top of your head, you can't, can you? Yeah, Devon is the slowest. So I can't find him. I can't find him out there.
I really can't.
Danny Tesh. He was slower than Devon. I don't know.
No, I can't think of anyone relevant at that level.
Yeah. Okay, so who do you have winning this match? What's the scoreline?
I think I have Devon winning. And you know what? Big fan of Genadi. He's very strong. He's very versatile. He quite possibly has a pinning threat, but I think that pinning threat runs out relatively quickly. So I'm going to say 3-1 to Devon. If Genadi takes the first round, if Devon takes the first round, it's just over.
Look, I'm going to agree with you on that one. I think the most likely scenario is a 3-1 victory to Devon. I think the 3-0 victory to Devon is the next most likely for me. But I do think Genadi has enough explosivity and enough versatility in his style that he'll find a way through at least once. But then those targets just seem like they're getting further and further and further away as the match goes on against Devon. So I think a 3-1 victory, as you said, is the most likely scenario. And I think the polls agree with that one. I think about 85% of people believe that Devon will win this match. Even Saginasvilli said 50-50, didn't he?
Yep.
There you go.
He said he couldn't pick a favourite. So,
with the bias of Team Georgia, but he knows the reality of how strong Devon is. He's obviously pulled him in, and at the time, he with definitive words declared Devon to be number 2 in the world at the time.
Yes, not Genadi. And this is seemingly a bigger, stronger Devon. Not bigger in terms of overall weight.
Is this peak form Devon?
Devon says it is, and I'm inclined to start believing him.
Yeah, I think it is as well. I think it is peak form Devon. It's a different Devon. It's a very twisted Devon. His pronation will not go down, it seems. It is our main event of East vs West 7. That's why everyone's going crazy, as we said. Let us know in the comments who you are picking for the full card. Give us your full card rundown, and if anyone gets it right, if anyone gets this, the first person in the comments section that gets the complete card right, I'm going to send a pound-for-pound arm wrestling set of handles to. There we go.
There you go. Yeah. Set of handle and a shirt. Come on. If they get everything right.
The shirts, I've only got limited sizes. So if you're a small or a triple XL, I got you covered for a shirt too. That's it. I've got nothing left outside of small. We're not restocking shirts at the moment, so I apologize. But I'll send handles to the first person that gets the prediction right. So if you've watched all the way to the end of this show and you've seen that, thank you for tuning in. We will be live. Ethan and I will be live right here in the studio watching it with you guys. Make sure you grab your pay-per-view and then come and tune in on the watch party as well. It'll be going off in here. Everyone will be talking about what is going down. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be very entertaining, isn't it? Awesome stuff, guys. We will see you at East vs West 7.